The wait is finally over. The NCAA Selection Committee has spoken. We have our field of 68 teams, from Blue Bloods looking to protect their crowns to the Cinderellas looking to upset said Blue Bloods. Welcome to Bracketology Men's Selection presented by Coors Light. We have got a cast of characters here to break down the bracket with you. Alongside Harry Lyles Jr., of course, we got Jeff Borzello, Myron Medcalf, and the doctor is in the house. Bracketology expert Joe Lunardi is here. And Joe, if you wouldn't mind, can I just brag about what you did this year, please?
If you insist.
68 for 68, 37 for 37 in the at-large, 57 of 68 in the exact seed, plus or minus 167, 68. Personal best this year. Joe Lunardi, round of applause.
I think it was the lab coat that did it.
It had to have been, right?
New. It's a new part of the shtick.
Yeah. And the tie, too.
The tie, which was made, especially for this. And I'll just say to you and our audience, if you're at a certain age, you need to see your bracketologist at least once a year. and this is it right now.
And you're prescribing some great stuff for us here. All right, so we're looking at the bracket, Joe, really quickly. Before we get to, the regions, because we're going to break it all down with you, make sure you grab a seat, grab a pen, because we got you for the next hour. But your overall thoughts on the bubble, anybody get snubbed? Were we missing anybody? Should anybody be peeved heading into Selection Sunday tonight?
Well, should and will are two different verbs, I suppose. But no, and it's always that way at the end of the line. I mean, the teams that are on the bubble for a reason.
Right.
And if we want to be snarky about it, we would say, win another game or two, and you're not on the bubble. So while I'm sure there's disappointment and beyond, there's no team not in the field that would have won the national championship or really even advanced to the second weekend, in my humble medical opinion.
Right, very good, very good. The ESPN Tournament Challenge is officially live. Be sure that you sign up. ESPN.com is the place to go for all of your bracket pools and your bracket needs. Fellas, we have spent the entire year deliberating, pontificating about what this might look. And here it is in front of us. Lyles, what is one thing that jumps out to you when you officially look at the field of 68?
I think just my overall thought on this particular bracket, and it was very hard for me not to go all one seeds in this Final Four because I feel like they are just that strong and a tier above the rest. I still, though, when you look at the teams that are lined up here, and we'll talk about Duke and their draw, it feels like there's still enough across the country where you could still see that magic that everybody wants to see, despite it feeling like the teams at the top are just that much of a cut above the rest.
Miami of Ohio. In the first four, I think the first four was made for a resume like Miami of Ohio. They did not beat anybody else in the field besides Akron earlier in the season, but they'll have a chance against one of those middling power conference teams that everyone complains about that makes it. They will have a chance about an hour away from their own campus to play themselves into the real field of 64.
Myron?
Well, I mean, Duke's the top seed, but I feel like they got the toughest region. They got to go through UConn and potentially St. John's and Kansas, all these really good teams. So if Duke wins it, there's going to be no doubt about the best team in America if they get through that region.
Yeah, there's no soft spots for anybody, but I do think we'll see a few more double-digit seed winners than last year. The end of Cinderella, we were told. Well, that may be so. I'm not convinced it wasn't a one-off.
Yeah, and again, it was the first time that we had all the one seeds in the Final Four since 2008. Hard to believe that we would even consider having it back-to-back years. We'll see how it goes. I think my takeaway is I look at the 8-9 line. I like every 9 seed to win over the 8 this year.
Here's one.
Wow.
Nines have a longer winning percentage and a higher winning percentage since 1985. They've actually outperformed the 8s over 40 years.
So I'm not crazy then. The doctor's prescribed me some good medicine here. But
not about that.
About some other things here. But yeah, you look at the 9-8s. I like, TCU, one of the more crazy resumes this year. They have a win over Florida. You go down the list even a little bit more. Clemson's dealing with some injuries, so Iowa might win that one. Villanova's been up and down. They got injuries as well. Utah State can play with the best of them. And then St. Louis, we've seen what they can do. Georgia has had some trouble playing defense this year. So that's my big takeaway. But let's get right to the meat of this thing. Everyone wants to know who they should pick for their Final Four. Jeff, I want to start with you. Who is in your Final Four this year?
Last year, I picked all 4 one seeds to make it.
You were right.
I was. I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen 2 years in a row. I'm going with UConn over Duke out of the East region. The rest of it, I'm going one seeds. I'm going Florida out of the South. I'm going Arizona out of the West. And I'm going Michigan out of the Midwest. If Duke did not have the injuries, I think we might see an all-chalk Final Four again. With the injuries to Caleb Foster and Patrick Gungba, I think that opens the door, as Myron mentioned before, for another team to come out of that East region.
Okay, Myron, your final. We'll start Elite Eight and then into the Final Four.
Well, does anybody remember what they were doing in 6th grade? That was the last time Cam Boozer lost a championship game. Duke advances out of the East. I think you got to go Florida. They had this incredible winning streak down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think when you go to the West, Arizona might be the most complete team, I think, in the field. And yes, Michigan is going to be my 4th Final Four team. Yes, it's chalky. Yes, it's all top seeds. But I think those 4 teams are a cut above the rest of the field.
You guys are no fun.
Wait.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Are you saying 6th grade for Cam Boozer or 1972?
For Cam Boozer.
Oh, wow. That's
A little bit later than that,
That's
Joe.
totally different.
A few years later.
Yeah, he's never lost the last game of the season. Lyles, give me something fun here. Tell me you don't have all ones in your Final
Sixth
Four.
grade, by the way, I was getting bad grades. Let's have a little bit of fun here.
Thank you.
Because I also really wanted to go chalk. I couldn't quite bring myself to it. Let's just address the big old elephant, pun intended, in the room, Alabama. As much as I genuinely think that Michigan is definitely one of the 4 best teams in the country, it is March Madness for a reason. And so because of that, I do have them beating Michigan, but obviously have Iowa State advancing. And as you see my Final Four there, Duke, Florida, and Arizona as well.
I think Ed might have the most chaotic one. Zach, do we have mine? We would throw mine up here or no?
All 16s, baby.
Yeah, here's mine. I went from the Elite Eight on. St. John's and UConn, number 4 this year because we need it. VCU, number 11 seed. Remember what happened in 2011. I think we may have another similar run. I think it ends there, though. And then I have Arizona and Gonzaga, Michigan and Ryan Odom, and Virginia in the Midwest. My Final Four, the Huskies in Florida, Arizona and Virginia. And then in our championship game, I went with, I believe, Florida and Arizona. And it's only fitting that we finish the season the way that we started it, between Florida and Arizona.
I think 3 of us have that, right? At least.
Can we get some of that Big East Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
That you're swinging?
Hey, everyone's saying the Big East is down this year, and it was.
The guy
But
goes, to the,
outside
big,
of
the guy
those
goes to the
two
Big
teams,
East title game one time, and he just cannot get enough of it.
I left at the under 8. Joe, what
My phone notifications are off, and I still just got a call from Phil Martelli Jr. saying, he picked me in the Final Four?
Hey.
Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Elite Eight, not
All
the
right,
Final
deal.
Four. Joe, what are walk us through this one here for you.
Okay, so I didn't go chalk either, but it was awfully close.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who picked Michigan at the start of the season. But Jeff talked about the Duke injuries. I think the LJ Kayson injury is a bigger one for Michigan. And I think we've seen them missing that little burst of offense off the bench. So I kind of went, maybe it was a little doll figurine of Harry on my shoulders. I went with Alabama to knock off Michigan in the Sweet 16, and then Iowa State coming out of that region.
Yeah, LeBaron Philon Hive, you know?
Yes.
Like that mission, Sam and I were talking about this before the show. I have basically told myself that in that particular instance, that game's got to be 98-95.
Yeah, first team to 90 wins.
Yeah.
That'll be a high-scoring game. There's going to be a lot of great guard play. That region will have quite a bit of it. We're going to break this down region by region here, and we're going to start in the East region, which is where you find the number 1 overall seed. That will be the Duke Blue Devils, 32-2 this year, 17 quad 1 wins. They will face Jerry McNamara and the Siena Saints in the opening round. That game will be held in Greenville. Fun fact here, Duke has won 27 of the 30 NCAA tournament games they have played in the Carolinas. Guys, thoughts on the East region at large here, and then we'll hone in on some of the matchups. Lyles, you want to get us started here?
I just when we're looking at 2 through 5 here, when you look at UConn, Michigan State, Kansas, and St. John's, when I look at those teams at their best, perhaps with the exception of Michigan State, I look at those teams and I said, okay, on your best night, can you play with Duke? And for the most part, I feel that they can. And I feel that way more so about this particular region than any other. Now, is that to say that, one of those teams is not going to trip up before they see a Duke? Well, that we're going to see that. Yeah. But to me, that's sort of what stands out.
To me, you mentioned that seeds 2 through 5. All 4 of those teams, just elite coaches.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 of the 5 or 6 best coaches in the country. When you talk about Rick Pitino, Bill Self, Tom Izzo, and Dan Hurley, you can go down the list and go down Mick Cronin. It's just it's a loaded region from a coaching perspective, and it's kind of a brutal region for Duke. I mean, especially if they're shorthanded. If they play St. John's, who's coming off a sweep for the second year in a row of the Big East regular season, Big East Conference tournament, physical team will wear you down. You know, Duke looked a little bit tired at times during that Virginia title game in the ACC. If they have to go through St. John's in the Sweet 16 and then play, I mean, either Michigan State, UCLA, UConn, all those teams are physical. Will try to get you in foul trouble. It's going to be, especially if Patrick Gungba's still out. That is a tough road for Duke, and the committee really did them no favors, giving them an overall #1 seed and then giving them that path.
Real quick, Myron, what's the latest on any of the Duke injuries? We know Foster likely going to be out longer than Gongba, but are they expecting to have him back, and if so, when?
There's a potential with Gongba. I mean, come back for the NCAA tournament. It doesn't feel like Caleb Foster is as promising, but good news for Duke. I think Caden Boozer really stepped up in these last couple games and said, hey, I'm ready to take on a bigger role.
Thoughts on the East region?
I still like Duke all the way in that region. I don't think UConn will be a big challenge for them if it's an Elite Eight game. In fact, I think it's 50-50 UConn gets out of Philadelphia based on what we saw the other night.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I really don't. This also is the region of multiple national champions. When you look at it, Duke, has won multiple. Louisville, they can count the vacated ones. I count them. Lyles and I were talking about
I was there.
We were there. We saw it.
It happened.
Michigan State obviously has won 2. UConn as well. So what we're going to do, Lyles, I'm going to steal you here. We'll leave the doctor and the writers at the desk, and we are going to go over to our trusty touchscreen here and play around with a couple of these matchups. And again, for those who are watching with us live on the ESPN YouTube page, please chime in. We want to get to some of your thoughts, questions, comments, and concerns as we go along here. But let's start here at the top. Lyles, we'll fill this thing out, and then I want to get some of their thoughts here. Jerry McNamara's squad, guys. It is ironic for one of the greatest three-point shooters in the history of Syracuse basketball. They're 333rd in the country in three-point field goal percentage. Do they pose any threat to Duke? Or are we just going to write this one in?
Write it in.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
All right, write it in.
Are you sure?
Final thoughts. All right, Ohio State and TCU is an interesting matchup. TCU, as we talked about, one of the more crazy resumes this year, Joe. The fluctuation, losing to New Orleans and then beating Florida has been insane. Ohio State's right there, too. What do you guys make of this matchup?
I think Ohio State's playing their best basketball of the year right now. Bruce Thornton is a dude.
Yeah.
I like Ohio State in this one.
I like TCU, but that's because they wear purple, and this is the time of the year when
Right.
that kind of rationale carries a lot of weight.
Borzello, you're the tiebreaker.
Give me Ohio State. They are playing well, and they were on the bubble a couple weeks ago. They're going to wear home jerseys in the first round. That's a really good job by John D.
Now, guys, this next one here, St. John's, Northern Iowa. When we did Countdown to Game Day, it was a week or two ago.
Yep.
And we were talking about potential Cinderellas in March. I said, give me the Missouri Valley winner. I'm not going to lie. I did not think it was going to be Northern Iowa. But given what I said, guys, is there any shot we could see an upset here?
I wanted to pick Northern Iowa. If they had played a different 5 seed, I would do it. I am not picking them against Rick Pitino on 4 days, 5 days to prepare. I think Northern Iowa is really good. I do think that they were better than the 6th or 7th best team in the Missouri Valley. I just think it's a really, really tough matchup for them.
Remember the last time Northern Iowa was in the tournament, 2016, Jesperson, half-court shot there. That was interesting. Myron, thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I think it's just hard to prepare for Zuby Ejiofor. You don't have anybody in your scout team who looks like that dude, so good luck.
Yeah. All right.
Well, on my mock, Sam, I actually had Northern Iowa playing Kansas with a surprise appearance by Ali Farouk. So St. John's has been spared.
I'd take Northern Iowa over Kansas, by the way.
So, but to your point, like a different matchup, maybe you take that. But Kansas is actually going to be playing Cal Baptist. Now, this game's in San Diego. Cal Baptist is making their first NCAA tournament appearance. The Darren Peterson thing has been interesting because it seems like the more he plays, the more infrequent or inconsistent his play has been. Myron, take us through this matchup here. Any sort of pushback from Cal Baptist here?
Dominic Daniels, number 5 in scoring in the country, has put up 47 points this season. I think that's the worst kind of situation for a Kansas team that I think can beat anybody in the region, and it feels like they can lose this first game too if they're not in sync.
Yeah, a lot of times in matchups like this, you'd go, well, the underdog doesn't have one guy who would be in Kansas's rotation. Well, they do. Yeah. So that gives them at least a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I mean, Daniels he's the type of guy, if you want to pick one guy from any double-digit seed who's going to score 40 points and, be maybe a hero by Thursday night or Friday night, it would be him. I don't know if they have the size and the depth to deal with Kansas, but it wouldn't surprise me if Daniels goes for 30, 35 points.
Okay, well, real quick, we'll move down here in the East region and finish out this. Louisville, South Florida, been a great story. The Michael Brown injury, any updates? Any updates with that? Because that probably changes how people will fill out this bracket.
He's optimistic he's going to play in the NCAA tournament. And I do think that is key. I mean, if they don't have him, South Florida is not going to go into that game feeling like they have less talent or less athleticism than Louisville. Brian Hodgson knows how to get talent. They have a lot of it. And if Michael Brown's out, I could see South Florida pulling the upset. If Michael Brown plays, he's a game changer. He's a difference maker. But we'll have to see.
South Florida can push the pace.
Yep.
I mean, they can really control the tempo of the game, and that's hard for any opponent they face.
I like South Florida one way
Let's
or
do
the
it.
other.
Run it.
Yeah, I like
We
it.
need an upset.
All right, Michigan State, North Dakota State. I'm just going to go quick here
Let's
because we
Sparty.
are running a little bit out of time.
Let's go UCF here.
All right, you're going Johnny Dawkins?
Yeah, because UCLA, we got injuries. Don't need that. UConn, your boys.
Not
got
like
put-
that.
Villanovan's going to be
no.
okay. I mean,
UCLA
Villanova's
is
going to be
gonna be
okay. UCLA's playing.
Donovan Dent's playing the best he's played. I
Yeah.
mean, 66 or
Villanova's
77.
got the
wrong
Wait,
view in that one.
is Johnny Dawkins playing for UCF?
He probably still could.
Or even his
Hey,
son.
Myron, you can get eligibility. Okay, we can make that happen. All right, so we want to go UCLA there instead. Let's go UCLA.
All right, let's
we
go
got,
UCLA.
We got the pushback was strong enough.
Pushback was strong enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
UConn.
I'm not getting any pushback here. Let's move it along here in the East region. Duke, Ohio State. This is great. I mean,
Yeah.
You talk about the tough path for Duke. Just looking at it as it's a little bit more condensed, it gets a little bit tougher. Let's go
Duke.
push back here. I think Duke probably advances to the Sweet 16. St. John's and Kansas.
Give me
Two
St.
great
John's.
I got
coaches.
St. John's.
Give me
Yeah.
St. John's. They're
Yep.
playing great.
Yeah.
Physicality. Flory Badunga and Zubi Ejiofor. That will be
Incredible matchup, yes.
That's a battle, right?
Now, Jeff and I talked about South Florida here. Can we advance the Bulls here?
I mean, I would go with Michigan State.
I'm not going that far.
Listen,
Hey,
We could ride with South
I'm
Florida
about
if you
the
want.
tempo in Michigan State scoring.
You get 24 hours to prepare for Tom Izzo. Like, that's the how do you prepare for Tom Izzo? Overnight. That's going to be a hard thing to do.
Lyles, I think your Bulls taking the L here.
Oh.
Sorry about it.
The
Overruled.
run ends, one game.
UCLA and UConn. Mick Cronin.
Mick Cronin, sending Mick Cronin to Philadelphia, by the
Matchup of the
way.
angriest coaches.
He's
in
already
college.
He's already mad.
Yep.
He's already mad.
Send him to the East Coast.
Well, you send him to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now he's got to
Yep.
play the Huskies. He's not seeing the Statue of Liberty, though, so I know we'll be happy about that.
UConn.
UConn.
It's UConn.
Consensus?
With a boxing match postgame.
Whoa.
It's a split
The
decision.
sideline
for you.
theatrics
Yeah.
in
All
that
right.
game are going to be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Split decision. We're not quite there yet. But I think we can pick the Elite Eight, and then we'll stop there because we're going to need the South region. So
Yeah.
Duke, St. John's.
Still do.
I'll go with Duke. That's gonna be a battle.
It will
Zubi
be.
Ejiofor versus Boozer, but it's like Myron said before, it's
And-
impossible to pick against Boozer.
Boozer
Another
doesn't
storyline
lose
in that game.
these moments.
Patino versus Shire. I mean, we're talking experience here
Yeah.
with the Johnnies.
Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, all right. We'll go there.
Shire's an old soul, though.
I mean, all of this. Look at that.
Michigan State and UConn. Man.
Give me UConn.
UConn.
Sparty.
Yeah, no, get Sparty out of here.
All right.
Get
I'm
him
going
outta here.
UConn.
Lyles
All right.
is offended because they beat
Sorry,
South
Joe.
Florida.
Yeah,
The
knock
doctor-
them out.
The doctor is overruled. So in our Elite Eight here, in the East region, we got the 1 and the 2. That's our consensus pick here on our Bracketology show. All right, we're going to break down another region, but before we do that, the state of New York has been tremendous this season, sending 4 teams to the NCAA tournament. We caught up with one of those teams' head coaches earlier on. Time now to welcome in the head coach of the Hofstra Pride, Speedy Claxton. Coach, really appreciate the time and congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. Obviously, you guys would have played in the tournament in 2020 had there been one, but this will be the first time you guys are playing in the Big Dance since that 2001 season. Been 25 years. You guys did your work early on this week in the CAA tournament. When you saw your name come up on the screen, when you saw Hofstra come up, what were some of the thoughts that were running through your mind?
I'm gonna say finally. It's been a long time coming, 25 years to be exact. But then, when I was an assistant coach, we did win our conference tournament. So we were at the highest of highs, but then the next day it got canceled. So we were at the lowest of lows. So, I was kind of just holding out hope until I just sort of until we got to this selection show.
Coach, obviously you guys drew Alabama. LeBaron Philon, obviously one of the great scorers in the country.
Yeah, having a great year.
What are your early impressions of this Crimson Tide team?
Yeah, great player, great team. We're going to get together here in a little bit and then start breaking down Alabama and come up with a game plan and see what we need to do in order to beat them.
Going to be great guard play. There are 33 players, Coach, in the country that average 20 or more points per game. You have one of them on your roster. It's been a great year to watch what Cruz Davis has done this year. When you think about what he means to your team, what should fans know about your senior guard?
Yeah, Cruz Davis is everything to our program. He had the opportunity after last season to go out there and make significant money in the portal, but he chose to come back and stay at Hofstra because this is a special place. We have special people here, so I'm not surprised that he came back, and I'm just surprised. I'm just happy that he's seeing his hard work pay off.
And Coach, obviously that speaks to the culture that you've built there. What are people that are watching your team for the first time in this tournament going to learn about Hofstra and your group?
Yeah, we're a blue-collar bunch. We're going to go out there, play hard, and we're going to compete. We're not going to back down from anyone. I fully expect my team to be more than ready to go on Friday.
Now, it's a trivia question that I think a lot of people are going to throw out this year. Last time Hofstra played a game in the NCAA tournament, who was the head coach? Obviously, the answer is Jay Wright. Have you spoken with Jay at all this week? And do you plan on speaking to him before you guys play?
Yeah, I spoke to Coach a couple of times. He congratulated me Tuesday night after the win, and I spoke to him briefly on air earlier today. So Coach Wright, he will forever be one of my mentors in this game. I owe a lot to him, man.
It's a good one to have. You've watched a lot of college basketball this year, Speedy. You know how good this freshman class has been. What your freshman guard, Pressman Edmead, has done these last two games. I mean, 22 points in the semifinal, a season-high 26 in the championship game. How have you seen his game evolve throughout the year?
He's been big time, man. Like I keep saying throughout the whole year, he is well beyond his years. He is not scared of the moment. He actually embraces the moment. He wants the ball in his hands. So I'm not surprised at the success he's having because he's honestly one of our hardest workers. He's one of the first ones in the gym, always one of the last ones to leave. We actually have to have blackout days for him where he's not allowed to be in the gym.
It helps, though, Coach, right, when your best players are the ones that work the hardest, and you obviously have that on your team. It's been a really good year. I'm curious your thoughts on just the state of basketball in the state of New York. When you think about the likes of St. John's, obviously LIU is going to be playing in the NCAA tournament this season, and you guys as well. Can't forget about Siena. I mean, what does it say about maybe just the recruiting hotbed that you guys have in your own backyard?
Yeah, New York basketball is back. We'll be rooting for all those guys. Definitely rooting for my guy Strick over at LIU. Patino has been killing it at St. John's. And my man Jerry Mack, happy for him. He's done a terrific job at Siena, but New York basketball is on the rise. Definitely be rooting for all three of those guys as this tournament gets going.
And a lot of Hofstra Pride fans are going to be rooting for you as well, Coach Speedy Claxton. Best of luck the rest of the way. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
Hofstra in the Midwest region. They will be playing Alabama, as we mentioned in that first round game. Let's go through this region here. Again, Michigan is your number one seed, 31-3 on the year, coming off of that loss in the Big Ten title game to Purdue. Texas Tech is reeling with the injuries. Tough one against John Gross and Akron there in the first round. St. Louis, obviously out of the A-10. Go a little bit further down here in this region where you will find the 2-seed Iowa State, the 3-seed Virginia, as well as Rick Barnes' Tennessee squad, and then, of course, the play-in game between Miami of Ohio and SMU. Guys, this region is a scoring region. 6 of the top 11 scoring offenses you will find in the Midwest. Thoughts on this region at large, Harry, on the kind of bird's eye view?
Well, I'm going to go a little bit
Okay.
inward.
Okay, we're going in.
Because in March Madness, we have characters, we have heroes. I look at number 9 St. Louis, and I know he's a little bit banged up, but Robbie Avila. I would love to see him go up against the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, I don't have high hopes for obviously them making a deep run, but I'd like to see him go up against Michigan. Why not? That's what this tournament's all about.
He went from arguably the biggest shot in the history of St. Louis to missing a block out that cost him the automatic bid.
But also, which version of St. Louis is showing up? The team that won 24 out of 25 games to start the season? Or this weird team we've been watching the last couple of weeks of the year?
4-4 down the stretch.
Yeah.
To me, this region sets up, and I know Joe and Lyles picked Alabama to beat Michigan, but to me, this region sets up for the 2 best teams in the region to play in the Elite Eight. Michigan and Iowa State, to me, have been 2 of the 5 or 6 best teams in the country all season long.
Right.
And I just think that this region really is going to pit them against each other in the Elite Eight. Now, Iowa State, they need to be healthy. They need to make shots. Michigan, with LJ Cason out, the thing that concerns me about Michigan is, can Elliot Cadeau play consistently at the point guard spot for 6 straight games? When they had LJ Cason, Dusty May can mitigate that and say, all right, you're only going to play 12 or 15 minutes today. We got Cason. He's going to be fine. Without him, Cadeau needs to play well. If he doesn't, that Alabama over Michigan pick in the Sweet 16, it becomes a lot more viable.
Yeah.
LJ Cason, by the way, the only player on Michigan's roster that gets normal playing time to shoot it over 40% from beyond the arc. Now, Michigan, obviously not a three-point shooting team by its strictest definition, but it is March, and you want to be able to at least have that in your bag if you need it. Let's go back to our touchscreen here. We'll go back to the bracket, break down this Midwest region a little bit here. We start at the top, Michigan, UMBC. Not a lot of pushback here. We're going.
No magic.
Lyles, touching in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this ain't 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
St. Louis and Georgia.
Give me Georgia. Give me Georgia. St. Louis is struggling. 4-4 down the stretch. This might be a game first to 90, first to 100, by the way. A lot of points.
Is Georgia not the best defensive team in the tournament? I think St. Louis finds its mojo for a round.
So I know I just talked up Robbie. I picked Georgia.
There you go.
You can't have it both ways. We got to pick one, Lyles.
We're going with the dogs.
All right.
We also got a flight tomorrow. Got to get
All right.
home.
Now, this one in Tampa is an interesting one. This will be a trendy 12-5 upset, obviously, because of the JT Toppin injury. But a Donovan Atwell, a Christian Anderson have been able to carry this team at times this year. Is there a potential for an upset here from John Gross's Akron team?
Give me the Zips.
Yeah, there's a potential for an upset. I mean, the Zips, they can shoot it. I mean, we saw that in the MAC tournament, but it's not just JT Toppin. And Grant McCasland, in moments like this throughout his entire career, he wins. I got to pick Texas Tech.
Deciding vote here, Joe.
I think Akron was the best team in the Mid-American, not Miami. I'm going with the Zips.
That's
like
all
the
I need to hear.
conviction. Yeah,
that's
Jeff gets
that's
the conviction
good
pick.
stuff from the doctor there. That's what we pay you the big bucks for. Alabama and Hofstra here. We just talked to Coach Speedy Claxton, obviously Cruz Davis, LeBaron Philon. This is a guard matchup dream, right?
Points.
Not a great matchup for Hofstra. You don't want to speed up Alabama. I think Alabama's going to be able to kind of impose their will on Hofstra a little bit.
All right, very good.
We're going to go
It's going to feel like the N1 mixtape tour.
Wait, didn't Alabama steal a high-scoring guard from Hofstra?
Aaron Estrada.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, they might want to leave their freshman home.
All right, Tennessee and SMU. This is an 11-6 matchup. Now, we picked SMU to beat Miami of Ohio, by the way,
Gotta
in
pick
that
the first
first
four.
four. Yeah, in that
right.
first four.
That stops there. I think Tennessee,
Yeah,
they'd aim at
Tennessee.
his 6'10". There's just not many matchups
He's
like
good
that.
to go, though. There's no injury concerns with him going
But it
through.
should be good to
All
go.
right, we'll
That's
go
good
with
to
Tennessee
go.
here. Virginia.
Virginia opposed?
Virginia.
No. All right. Anybody
Best
like
offense in the
Santa Clara?
WCC. Kentucky can be a mess.
This is a
me
live double-digit seed right here.
Give me Santa
agree.
Clara.
I like that heat. We're going with it.
That's out in St. Louis.
Best
This
NBA
also-
prospect in that game might be on Santa Clara. Alan Gray.
Iowa State, we're all good with that?
Yeah, I would say
Yes.
advances.
Thank you.
Shouts
Nolan
to Nolan
Smith will hold
Smith,
his
though.
own.
That was impressive.
All right,
what he
let's-
did at Tennessee State. I think he got the job in July, by the way. So credit to him. Michigan and Georgia here. Let's go Big Blue,
Great
right?
football game.
Michigan.
This is a great helmet game there. Great helmet game. Alabama and Akron.
It was
Alabama.
on Zips, but yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Tennessee, Virginia.
Give me Virginia. Their shot
like
blocking
Virginia.
is going to be a problem.
We're going Virginia, and then we all like Iowa State.
Yep.
Beauty.
Now,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Iowa State has shown sometimes some lapses in the NCAA tournament, but here we go. Let's pick the Elite Eight, Michigan, Alabama.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Wow, this is another great helmet game.
Look at that.
It's a shame Virginia's in that spot. Because I thought as a 3 elsewhere, they could have been alive.
I picked them. I picked
size
them to
and
win.
I
shot
can't
blocking
take
is
them
real,
against Iowa
but
State.
Iowa State's too good.
Iowa State.
All right. All right, very good.
There it is.
So that's our Elite Eight in the Midwest. We will hit the, where are we going next, Zach? We going South Region next eventually? Okay. All right, Joe, we'll get your final thoughts here. I know you got to get out. The doctor has a couple of calls
House
to make.
call.
Yeah, a couple of house calls to make. Final thoughts on this bracket, Joe, because you've been working on it all year long. We finally see it in front of us here, and we're starting to fill it out. So,
Well, Florida's been one of the best 4 teams in the country for at least the back end of the schedule. I wouldn't let the one game in the SEC semis kind of ruin the thought, just like you don't want to let the one game UConn played ruin anybody's thoughts. So I definitely like Florida in the South.
okay. Nice. Really appreciate it, Joe
doctor.
Lunardi again. The doctor in session with the
Career
perfect
best
bracket.
performance.
No,
Real.
it's just another routine emergency. And remember, the expertise ends right now.
Well, Joe, again, really appreciate it. And, man, it was fun to watch this entire year. You deliberate on the bracket. And, again, got them all right. Got them all right. So he's going to make a house call here. Let's take a look at our busted brackets presented by Coors Light. Regardless of what seed line you are on or what your path to Indianapolis might look like, injury luck is going to play a part in it. It's just the way that things shake out here. There are quite a few contenders this year that will have to figure out a way to win without a star player. Here are a few of those teams. UNC, obviously, without Caleb Wilson. Texas Tech and JT Toppin, as we just talked about. Duke with Caleb Foster, Pat Ngongba dealing with the injuries. Louisville to Mykel Brown Jr. We are hearing that Donovan Dent, Tyler Bilodeau will be okay. I can get a yes there from the fellas here. All right, very good. Gonzaga and Braden Huff. It was reported he likely will miss at least the first round of the tournament. All right, I'm getting some head shakes. Yes, so we'll go with that. But the margin for error, guys, obviously, it is razor thin. It just always is. But that's what we love about this tournament. So when you look at not only that list, but when you look at some of the other injuries or concerns that teams have around the country, what are some of those teams that maybe not be able to make it out of the first weekend?
To me, Texas Tech took the biggest hit with JT Toppin going down. I thought they were a legitimate national title contender with him. Him and Christian Anderson, 2 of maybe the 10 best players in the country, the best inside-outside duo in the country. I thought they could make a run to Indianapolis. I thought they could cut down the nets. Without him, I think they are susceptible to a 12-over-5 upset loss to Akron in the first round. And their ceiling just takes a considerable hit without JT Toppin.
Yeah, I think that's valid. JT Toppin was on his way to being an All-American again.
Mm-hmm.
I think in one shining moment, we don't put teams up there, we put stars.
Right.
Caleb Wilson is a next-level guy who just changes everything that UNC can do. You have a chance against anybody with him on the floor. Without him, I just think UNC's ceiling is much lower.
And I think they just got so much more out of him, I think, than they even expected. Yeah. The one that kind of stands out to me on this list as well is Mykel Brown, because to me, Louisville, especially even if you're just looking at KenPom, is so balanced, but they're such a different team without him. He makes things so much easier for his teammates. Mm-hmm. I still think Louisville can do damage without him, but they are not reaching their full potential unless he's on the basketball court.
Who are you going with, Myron? Who was that team that you think higher seed that may not make it out of the first weekend?
Well, I mean, I think you look at a number of teams, but Vandy, to me, Tyler Tanner's great. That team, obviously, you get to the SEC championship. That says a lot. But McNeese might be better than the McNeese team that advanced last year under Will Wade. They forced more turnovers than any team in the country. If you don't know the name Larry Johnson, you're going to know that name by the end of the week. One of the most underrated players, and I tell Jeff this all the time, one of the most underrated players in the country right now, Javon Garcia, looks like he's back, 31 points in the championship game. I think McNeese is dangerous. That's not just because of Amir Khan and his boombox.
Hey, Coach, Bill Armstrong took over for Will Wade, man. And just because Will Wade's not there doesn't mean that this team's not balling. Lyles, who was your team?
Michigan State.
Okay.
And because I look at the winner of that Louisville-South Florida game. To me, whoever comes out of that one, I like them to get the Spartans, which I don't feel great picking against Tom Izzo that early. But to me, when I just look at what those two are bringing to the table, to me, the tempo that USF is playing with, the momentum that they're playing with, and then on the Louisville side, to me, if they beat USF, then that tells me Mykel Brown's probably playing. Yeah. So if that's the case, I like Louisville over Michigan State.
I went with the team that won today. I went with Purdue because we've seen what this preseason #1 team can be. as of late. But I think it's going to be a very trendy pick for folks to pick. Purdue having won, whatever it is, 4 or 5 straight from the Big Ten tournament. But, we've also seen the defensive lapses at times. Oscar Clough has been a huge difference maker at times this year. But we'll see. This team has seen the high highs and they've seen the low lows of the NCAA tournament.
Who do you have them losing to? Miami or Missouri?
I had them
Queens.
losing. I had them losing to Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trust Dennis Gates.
Missouri playing at home.
Mark Mitchell.
So we'll see. But I will say this: if Purdue does make it to the Final Four, that's what, an hour drive away from West Lafayette. So let's head on over to the South region, where you will find the 1 seed Florida and the reigning national champs taking on the winner of Prairie View A&M and Lehigh in that first 4. Clemson and Iowa. Again, Clemson dealing with some injuries there at the center spot. Vanderbilt just gave Florida a whooping the other day. They will get McNeese, and then Nebraska on the 4 line. You go a little bit further down here in this region, the 2 seed Houston. A lot of talk about where Houston might be playing in the regional round. If they can get there, they got to take care of the Vandals, though, out of Idaho to get things going. And then Illinois with their offense, one of the best to do it this year. They're going to be playing in Greenville, South Carolina against the Penn Quakers, who came out of a wild game in the Ivy League earlier today. Bird's eye view here of the South region here, Lyles.
First impression was, man, this feels like the draw Duke probably should have gotten. Which, I mean, if you're Florida, I am hardly of the mind that a loss is a good thing for you. I think every team obviously wants to win all their games. But if Todd Golden's team was ever going to need a wake-up call, boy, they just got it. After having a stretch during the season, you tell me if I'm wrong here, I think it was probably just about as good as any stretch that any team had played during the season. So Florida, this feels like this is built for them to succeed.
Look, the Vanderbilt thing was weird because on paper that's an awful matchup.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, it just is, but sometimes that's how it happens. You look a little bit further down here, though, in the 2 seed in Houston, Jeff. There is a potential for Houston to be playing in Houston later on in this tournament.
Well, I think that's one of the things that stands out is there's the potential for 2 rematches in this region. One, Florida could play that Vanderbilt team that just beat them by 17. They could play them in the Sweet 16. And then if they get to play Houston in the Elite 8, it's a national championship game rematch in Houston.
Right.
And I would love to hear Todd Golden's thoughts on having to play Houston in Houston. The other thing that stands out to me about this region, the double-digit seeds, 11, 12, and 13, all really good. Sam, you love the VCU Rams. Myron, you love McNeese. Yep. And then Troy, it's a team that played in the tournament last year. They have some guys who are tournament tested. They're playing a team in Nebraska, a program that has never won an NCAA tournament game, under an incredible amount of pressure, playing against a team who has seen this type of tournament before.
Yeah. I think Nebraska's the forgotten team.
Yeah. No doubt.
And all this, I mean, that was the
Yep.
best defensive team in the Big Ten. That's a team that had this historic start, and we sort of just forgot about them.
And they can shoot.
They can do it all, and I think they're more dangerous than people are really recognizing.
Is there any team in the field of 68 that has more pressure on them for a 1-game sample than Nebraska does?
It's got to be Nebraska.
It has to
I
be,
mean,
right?
This was a top 10 team for most of the season. Yeah. They got to win 1 game, and the pressure's all off. Just 1 game.
Then you're playing with house money.
Yeah.
All right, let's start here in the South region. We'll break this one down here. Florida and Lehigh. We'll keep this thing moving. I think we're taking the reigning national champs.
Right.
8-9 matchup. I said that no 8 will advance out of the NCAA
Give me
tournament
Clemson
this year. All right.
Well, Bennett Stearns and Ben
squashed my
McCollum.
dream for this.
I just think Clemson defensively, I think they can key in on Bennett Stearns. Stearns is going to need help to beat Clemson. Can he get enough?
Bennett Stearns and Ben McCollum have won at least 1 game together the last 2 years. I think this is year 3.
Sold. Myron won the argument, Borzello.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Judge Sam from Countdown to Game Day is back.
What's Carter Welling's availability? He's out, right?
He's out.
Yeah.
He's out.
And that doesn't cause you, that's not a concern for you, at
I'm
least
going
in
Clemson.
1 game? All right.
So we can all agree then, though, we're having a good time down here, right?
Larry
I'm going
Johnson
Vandy.
and McNeese.
I'm going Vandy. Vandy has seen the athletes and the talent and the defense that McNeese can throw at them in the SEC. Tyler Tanner, Duke Miles, not going to be fazed by it.
What about the boombox, Jeff?
What
Have you thought about that?
Myron, the key there is, though, what is he playing out of the boombox? And that we don't know.
Nothing but hits, Harry.
One can only hope. Sam, break the tie. I know I picked Vanderbilt.
I'm going
in my
Vandy.
bracket.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I don't think we picked a 12-5 yet. So maybe that'll be in
We picked Akron.
By the way, for this
Yeah, that's
for this 4-13 here, I picked Troy.
I went Nebraska.
I got to go
I went
Nebraska. They're so much better than people,
Yes.
I think, are acknowledging.
I agree with you. I totally agree. It's just the pressure factor of this thing in Oklahoma City.
They do the things that you need to do well in March to
They
at least
guard and they
survive
make
that
shots.
first
They
round.
guard.
They defend, they can shoot.
All right, further on down here in the South region, North Carolina and VCU. You guys know where I went here, but I want to get your thoughts.
Give me Carolina. Even without Caleb Wilson, I don't think VCU has an answer for Henry Visar. They need Seth Trimble to play well. They need Derek Dixon to play well. But I think they have enough to get past VCU.
They've been a really good defensive team, even without Caleb Wilson. I think that's going to be the difference in that game.
Bill Martelli's squad has won 6 straight, but we are going with the 6th seed here and going with North Carolina.
Like that.
Lyles, Illinois, Pennsylvania here.
You know,
you love the Quakers and your boy.
I was feeling that Pennsylvania fever earlier, but also Illinois is Illinois.
Yeah.
And I do not feel confident enough in the Quakers to pick them in that
All right,
spot.
so we'll get a 6-3 in the second
Out
round,
of that
North
draw.
Carolina and Illinois. St. Mary's and Texas A&M, one of the better intriguing 7-10 matchups I think that we have, right?
I'll take St. Mary's.
Yeah, give me St. Mary's.
Randy Bennett
Wow,
in
that
the
was
first
quick.
round. That's brutal.
That was quick. No
I like
love,
that.
no love for Bucky Ball here
No.
on our bracketology show. Houston and Idaho.
Cougs.
Houston.
Love for the Vandals, but the road ends quickly there. We go
Yep.
back up to the top of the South region here. Florida and Iowa.
Gators.
Gators.
Yeah, Gators. Gators.
Gators chomp. Okay. Into the Sweet 16. Vandy, Nebraska.
I like Nebraska. They can hit shots. They can defend.
I'm riding with Vandy, but I think I'm outnumbered here.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
All right. Very good.
Big Ten.
Fred Hoiberg's squad
Make it happen.
advances. Florida and Nebraska there in the Sweet 16. North Carolina and Illinois.
Best offense in the country, Illinois. They advance.
Best offense in years.
Yeah, pretty good there, Myron.
Any pushback here? St. Mary's
Houston.
against Houston?
It's Houston. You
Really,
got to fight
really
Houston
good,
in a phone booth.
really good coaching matchup in that one.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Fantastic. Here
A
we
little
go.
bit further on. Yeah, so we have, again, this is from the East region here, filled it out, 1 versus 2. So who will be playing in the Elite 8 out of the South? Florida and Nebraska.
Florida.
Florida.
Okay, we're getting a little chalky here for my liking, Lyles.
They're
but-
good.
You know it's happening. Then
good teams are
Illinois
good.
and Houston. I know I went with the Cougars.
I like Illinois.
Houston playing in Houston.
Yeah.
Give me the Cougs. I do think that might be the best Sweet 16 matchup of the entire tournament. I mean, the guard play on display. Keaton Waga, Kingston Flemings. I mean, a lot of guys that could get buckets in that game. But Houston playing in Houston, I cannot pick against Kelvin Sampson.
But
Even if they can't score.
if nothing else, this is a clash of styles, though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you got the best offense against one of the best defenses in the country. So that's where our Elite 8 comes to. Florida and Houston in the South.
National
Duke
title
and
game
UConn.
rematch.
Yeah, UConn. So let's go all ahead and pick this left side of the bracket here. Duke and UConn. Who's going to the Final Four?
Can't bet against Boozer.
I didn't want to pick all 4 1 seeds, so I went with UConn. I think if you look at it analytically, you're going to end up picking Duke. You can't pick against Boozer. I went UConn. I just think UConn's going to find its identity playing outside the Big East. They've been at their best outside of league play the last 3 or 4 years, and I think it's going to happen again.
Cameron Boozer doesn't lose in
tiebreaker.
championships.
I'll
You've been
follow the
singing
sword.
Karis Reed's praises
Yeah.
for weeks.
I'll
You
follow
can't go
the
against
sword.
him now.
We'll have some logic placed into
Okay.
this here. All right, we'll go with Duke.
And then Florida, Houston. You guys know where I'm going on this one. Jeff, Myron.
I'm going Florida. They're
gotta
going
be Florida
to
for me.
beat Houston in their backyard.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So we got Duke and Florida in the Final Four. We've got to get away from the chalk here when we finish up in the West region.
I had UConn. You guys fought me.
Man, speaking of
Well,
the
we
West,
know where Sam would have gone.
no.
Or would
Pick
like
with the
to
heart.
see happen.
Speaking of the West region, we caught up with one of the players who will be playing out west in Rob Wright. The saying goes that experience is what wins in March, and Rob Wright III has experience playing in the NCAA tournament, albeit in a different jersey. Rob, appreciate you taking the time and joining us. What experience can you take from last year's NCAA tournament with Baylor and bring it over and parlay that into your experience at BYU this year?
Last year we were an 8 and 9 seed, so we played. I think that's one of the toughest games. So this year, having to play a team that's coming from Dayton, the first 4 in or the last 4 in, it's going to be a tough game. So just already having that experience and playing the tough first matchup is definitely going to help. Then playing against Duke in the second round. Well, this year we got Gonzaga, but it's in Portland, so we know they're going to have home crowd behind them. But we should have it packed out for us too. But I think I can bring this experience to just playing in those big matchups in March.
There's the experience, Rob, and there's also playing with AJ DeBonsa. What does having him on your team do for you guys, and how dangerous does it make you guys in this tournament?
It makes us super dangerous. I mean, AJ is super talented. I mean, he can score it, he can pass it. He just. I mean, you have to have 5 guys guarding him at all times. So lots of games he's getting double teamed. Then when he gets to the middle of the floor, he's kind of unstoppable. I mean, as you can see right there, once he gets to like that middle, like Big 12 logo, like it was in conference play. I mean, he's almost money from there every time.
Rob, you guys suffered kind of one of the most heartbreaking injuries anyone suffered all season when Richie Saunders went down for the season. How has that changed your role? Obviously, you have taken on a bigger responsibility within the offense. What has that done for your role within the team?
It's definitely changed because Richie was our main leader, so now I had to step up a lot more. Had a lot of conversations with Coach, just trying to be the leader on the team and just step up and lead the group. So I was just working through that and just going through a little adversity with having our leader down.
Rob, people saw the losses pile up late in the season, and I think they feel like you all haven't reached your ceiling quite yet. How do you get there in the NCAA tournament?
I think it's just staying together. I mean, we just got rolling in a Big 12 tournament. I think we played those first 2 games and we really needed them just for ourselves, just to keep finding our identity. And then we played a tough Houston team on our third game. So just to see that we could battle, and then we had a chance to win that one. It's just showing that we're rolling at the right time.
I know, Rob, you had mentioned when you did make that move to Provo from Baylor that Kevin Young was a main reason why, because of the NBA style of offense that they run. How have you learned from your head coach this year, and how has he made you a better player?
He's made me a better player by just showing me he's really big on the numbers. So he's kind of just showing me just to get to my spots and just make the game a lot easier for myself. I think just having a coach that already has that experience. He coached a guy like Chris Paul, who I kind of model my game after and look after. So I've just been kind of leaning on Coach and just trying to just follow him and listen to him because I know he got the best advice for me.
Rob, a couple more for you. When you think about, a couple of paths that you guys need to go through to get to where you want to go, what are some intangibles for this team that will get you to the promised land this year?
I think definitely it's just our rebounding. I mean, for us, it starts with the defensive end and rebounding. So if we're doing that, scoring, I think we can score with the best of the teams in the country. So I think if we're playing defense and rebounding and keeping teams off the glass, we'll be good.
The fact that you guys won't know who you're playing until 2 days before, unlike some other teams who know now who they're playing in the first round, the experience that you guys had in the Big 12 tournament where you didn't know who you're playing until the day before, how much is that going to help you on this kind of short turnaround prep playing a team from the first 4?
I think it helps a lot. Just not knowing who you play until 2 days before, obviously it's tough. So the coaches probably have to do 2 different scouting reports just to see like who we gonna play. But I think it's just going to be good for us, just so we already got that Big 12 experience. Now we could just go in and just kind of follow the game plan in a short amount of time.
Rob, we've seen you cross guys over, hit big-time shots over defenders. What's your preference, the stare down, trash talk, or walking away from a dude when you just embarrassed him?
I think I'm more chill, so probably just walk away.
I like it.
I like all 3, Rob. Why not just throw all 3 out there, man? Really appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the way, and stay healthy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, we got some socials chiming in here. Big East is filled with elite coaches. Yeah, I agree. The East region. Darren Peters realizing he has a potential to play Duke. I don't think he's going to be shivering like that dog, though. Duke, UConn, Kansas, UCLA, all in the East region. We talked about the championships that have been won there. For those who are watching again and following along with us here on the ESPN YouTube channel, please hit us in the comments. Want to get your thoughts on the Field of 68. Again, it's just been released back here at the desk. Of course, Harry Lyles Jr., Jeff Borzello, Myron Medcalf. I'm Sam Ravech. We appreciated the Dr. Joe Lunardi coming in, but he had to make a house call, so we move along here. Let's go to the West, because that's where you will find the 1-seed Arizona. Fins up! Long Island University back into the big dance. Villanova and Utah State in that 9-8. Wisconsin in a really tasty 12-5 there against one of the best offenses in the country in High Point. They also lead the country in steals per game. Arkansas and Hawaii. How about that? Out west, BYU, Texas, and NC State. These teams have already played once out in Maui early on in the season. Gonzaga as the 3 seed. I believe they've won an NCAA tournament game 16 straight tournaments. Gonzaga has won at least one game. Miami and Missouri in St. Louis. That's Missouri's backyard there. And then the 2 seed Purdue. Lyles, your thoughts on the West region?
As this was unveiled, my initial thought, aside from obviously the 1s and the 2s being Arizona and Purdue, I look at every single game and I want to make sure I am seeded for all these.
Yeah.
I mean, that Wisconsin and High Point game, points. Arkansas, Hawaii, Acuff might go for 50. Debonsa against either NC State or Texas, that's going to be awesome. Kennesaw State is a really great story, the way that program's gotten turned back around. Miami, Missouri, great matchup as well. So, I mean, even Utah State, Villanova should be really entertaining. Like, I don't think this is the strongest region, but I think it will be, as far as
Most
first round, entertaining. Yeah.
If you talk about the best duos in the country, this region might have 3 of the best. You start with Wisconsin, Nick Boyd and John Blackwell just put on a show in the Big Ten tournament. Arkansas, Darius Acuff, we'll talk about him plenty. Him and Malik Thomas have been an incredible backcourt. And then A.J. DeBonta and Rob Wright, especially since Richie Saunders went down. Those two might combine for 60 in their game. I just think that this region, a lot of points, a lot of just elite talent, really good backcourts. It's going to be a fun region.
If you're Tommy Lloyd, maybe the world is saying this is a weaker region. He knows how dangerous it is. I mean, Wisconsin has some of the best wins in the entire country. We talked about Darius Acuff. I also think it's set up for an A.J. DeBonta run, potentially. If you wanted to see a Kemba-like run in this tournament,
a lot of Kemba-like players in this region. A lot of Kemba-like players.
Arizona, there's a lot of pressure on Tommy Lloyd here heading into this NCAA tournament. Arizona, 5 losses in the round of 64 as a top 4 seed. It's the most in tournament history. Is Tommy Lloyd under the most pressure of any coach, do you think, in this NCAA tournament?
I don't know about the most pressure of any coach, but he is under some pressure. I think until they get to the Final Four, maybe until they win a championship, they're going to be questioned. They've been a 1 seed before under him.
Right.
And they've suffered early round losses. People have questioned their physicality, their toughness. Can they win in March, playing the way they do all season? This is a different team. I think we're going to see that in this tournament. So there is some pressure that he's under, and until they make a deep run, until they live up to their seed line, he's still going to be questioned.
It's hard to build a team this complete.
Yes.
And I think that's why this feels like such a special opportunity for Tommy Lloyd.
And you talk about early round upsets, not going to happen this year for Arizona. Let's go ahead and get that one out of the way.
Down.
No discussion needed. We talked about 8-9s. I know, Sam, you mentioned you don't have any 8s. Myron, Jeff, how do we feel about this one?
I like Utah State.
All right, look at that.
What I'm talking about.
Keeping Sam's theory here
I'm
alive.
taking High Point.
That's going to be a game.
Yeah, if High Point was playing a different 5 seed, if they were playing Texas Tech, if they were playing Vandy, I might take it. I don't know if they want to get into an up and down, high-scoring game against Nick Boyd and John Blackwell in Wisconsin.
But if there was a seed higher than like a 10 seed that could at least run with
good.
Wisconsin, it might be
there's high major talent on that roster.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun game, but we will go with the Badgers. Arkansas, Hawaii. Any Hawaii takers?
No.
Give me the Razorbacks.
I didn't think so.
Coach Cal was like, where are we going? I don't even know where we're going. They interviewed him on ESPN. I'm going out to Portland.
We proceed.
Yep.
BYU, NC State. Do we have any?
BYU.
It's BYU.
Any Will Wade believers? No.
Nope.
The Cougars advance. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State.
Gonzaga.
Sorry, guys.
No Owls. No love for the Owls.
No hooting and hollering. Miami, Missouri.
That's in Missouri's backyard.
We know Sam has Missouri. I'm going Miami.
I like Miami.
I had
Jay
Miami
Lucas
as
is an
well.
incredible job year 1.
Fantastic job.
Again,
Nobody thought much
we're
of
getting
them.
too chalky for my liking. I'm just saying.
So do you want to take Queens since we're
The Royals.
while we're here?
North Carolina, not yes, that's right.
Yeah, we
No,
will.
but I do have Purdue losing a little bit earlier, so
We will advance Purdue here.
yep, you got it.
There we go.
Nailed
Look
it.
at that. Arizona, Utah State. I don't think we got any Utah State takers before I
It's
advance
Arizona.
this here. We're going there. Wisconsin, Arkansas. I know I took the Razors.
I'm going Arkansas.
I think Arkansas.
That-
Darius Acuff is the difference.
Yep. That's going to be one of the best second-round games of the
will be.
tournament, though.
100% BYU, Gonzaga.
BYU.
Fun one.
Old West Coast Conference
Right.
rivalry.
Gonzaga defensively has been so good, and BYU has struggled against elite defensive teams.
If Keba Keita can slow down Graham Ike, I don't know if Gonzaga will be able to outscore DeBonta and Rob Wright. They've had inconsistent point guard play.
It's fair.
I'm going to go with BYU.
These two
That's
met
fair.
in the 2011 NCAA tournament. Jimmer Fredette won
Yeah.
that one for BYU. I'll go
You guys are the tiebreaker.
Sam's got the tiebreaker.
I'll go with the Cougs.
We're going with the Cougs. Miami, Purdue. I know I picked the Boilermakers. I know, what we saw out of them today, personally, made me feel better about them coming into March. What about you guys?
Trey Kaufman ran us back.
Yep.
Got to go Purdue.
Okay.
Going Purdue? We advance.
Yep.
All right.
Going to the
Arizona,
Elite Eight.
Arkansas.
If Arkansas is playing a different 1 seed, I would ride with Acuff, but I think the fun ends against Arizona.
It's Arizona.
I'm with you as well.
So are we in a consensus that at least Arizona is probably the most trustworthy 1 seed right now heading into the NCAA tournament?
I think that's fair. I mean, I think we
that's
saw,
fair.
with Florida's
Based on-
loss,
yeah.
with Michigan's
Yeah.
loss, with Duke's injuries.
And then, Sam, I know you mentioned you potentially had Purdue going out.
I don't trust Purdue in the NCAA
Okay.
tournament. Yeah, I can't do it.
I'm taking
So,
Purdue in that one.
I got to go Purdue.
Yeah.
I am also.
Braden
with
Smith
Purdue
is going
on
to
that.
control that whole game.
Yep.
And then are we going?
Yep, we're going into the Final Four.
Final
we
Four
gotta pick.
here.
1 versus 2, 1 versus 2.
Let's start at the top here. Arizona, Purdue. It sounds like we're all consensus.
Arizona.
They're going to Indianapolis. Michigan and Iowa State. I picked Iowa State, but that's because I didn't want to have all number 1 seeds.
Listen, we got producers. Zach is telling me chalk, chalk, chalk.
Yeah.
I'm the only one breaking up.
If you guys had taken UConn over Duke, we'd be okay. You guys didn't listen to me.
I'm getting pushback here. I'm trying to throw some upsets here. All right, Michigan and Iowa State.
Yep.
All right.
We going Wolverines?
I'm taking Wolverines. Yep.
We're going Wolverines.
I don't love it, but it's as chalk as it gets. Back-to-back years. I mean,
Not for me, but I mean, those 4 teams have, to me, proven they're a little bit
It's
cut
fair.
above
Yeah.
everyone else this
So
season.
Borzello, you had UConn instead of Duke.
Yes.
I had Iowa State instead of Michigan.
Sam had VCU winning it all.
That's right. 2011 run. Shock
Yeah.
smart. No,
But this is a group effort.
I'm going.
I had
I'm
all
going here
ones.
in the championship game. You guys can pick
You guys
that
pick that one.
Over Duke.
Yeah.
I also-
I had Florida in the title game as well.
Who's
I had
doesn't
Florida.
lose?
And I had them
Fair.
playing Arizona. A rematch of the first game of the season. Where
I had
It has to
Announced
finish
well.
that
Like
way.
it.
It would be so serendipitous. If
Like
we
it.
finished
Good
that
word.
way, right? Thank you.
Finish how we started.
Yep.
I know, the way that a lot of my colleagues, Sam, Jeff, believe this one's going to go. I have Florida. Myron, you get to break the tie
That-
since you
that
didn't
would be
have.
Myron's still picking Cam Boozer.
That's what I would pick. But Arizona's guards, in clutch situations, 5 minutes left, Arizona wins that.
Look, there was a lot of pushback on Jaden Bradley winning the Big 12 Player of the Year. He proved everybody wrong as to why he exactly won that award. It's not always about scoring. Not always about what you can do filling up the bucket. Sometimes it's about being in clutch time, and Jaden Bradley is probably one of the best clutch players that we've seen in college basketball in recent memory. All right, back here at the desk, getting ready to close things out here. We got 4 minutes left in our show, so I do want to kind of just look at this thing again. Big picture, when we look at it, the 1 seeds have clearly been a little bit a cut above the rest. What makes this tournament so great is the unpredictability of it. That's the nature of March Madness. So your final thoughts, Lyles, as we are about to get ready to close things out and start watching some basketball.
I just hope people don't see the chalk and think, oh, no, this is going to be a bad tournament. In any NCAA tournament, we still see those first and second round upsets. Does that mean sometimes when, hey, we get to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, it might look a little chalky? Yes. But that's why everybody at home, you need to be sitting, you need to call out of work, right? You need to pretend that you're sick, right?
no
You got
better
a
day.
dog that you all of a sudden you have that is ill that you need to be home for. Watch these first and second rounds like you do every single year, and you're going to really enjoy the upsets that you see at the beginning, but then the talent and dominance that we're going to see as this thing narrows itself down like we do every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 2 seeds. I think that's why we're kind of giving those 1 seeds so much praise. But don't make a mistake. UConn still has a very high ceiling. They beat Florida earlier this year. Houston, we know how good they can be. Iowa State at their best. And Purdue looks like they're starting to figure it out. So I think those 2 seeds could figure it out this week, and it could change this whole tournament.
Well, I mean, look at the teams that just won their conference tournaments or were made it to the title game at least. Will that momentum carry over? St. John's gets a 5 seed. Vanderbilt gets a 5 seed. Arkansas gets a 4 seed. Purdue plays itself into a 2 seed. Can they continue winning? History has shown that teams that win their conference tournament, that momentum does not necessarily carry over. But I think this year, I think all 4 of those teams can win games. They can win multiple games in the tournament. To me, it's really, you look at all those 4 1 seeds, and if Duke is healthy, even without Caleb Foster, if they get Gungba back, it's really hard to see any of those 4 1 seeds losing. They've been just so good and so consistent all year round. If Florida and Michigan hadn't lost this week, I think that the consensus would almost be that it's going to be the 4 1 seeds.
I'll just say this. We had all 1 seeds in the Final Four last year. I'm not going to say that we're not going to have any in this year, but I think there's just going to be more upsets than we think there are. I think that the injuries that have piled up on some of these contenders, these contending teams, will come and play a factor. At some point, chicken's going to come home to roost. And I think any one of these teams can get hot. We talk about some of the 5 seeds, whether it be a Wisconsin, whether it be even a Texas Tech down in there are teams out there that can go on a run, maybe not win 6 straight, but they can at least get to an Elite 8. So we'll see. It'll be really exciting to watch the rest of the way. All right, guys, so that was kind of the full bracket breakdown here. But just before we get out of here, I want to get your national championship picks. Lyles?
I had Florida and Arizona in the title game. I've got Florida going with the repeat.
I had Florida, Arizona. I'm going with Arizona. Bear down. There's a different mental fortitude, toughness about this team.
Watch the last 10 minutes of Duke, Michigan. Duke's going to win it because Cameron Boozer is going to decide what happens on the court in those clutch moments.
And he doesn't lose the last game of the season, right?
Not
Myron?
since 6th grade.
Yeah, not since 6th grade. Man, wow. I am so excited for this national championship and for the Final Four. It will be in Indianapolis. Jeff and Myron will both be there with our coverage. Make sure that you are following those guys because they got you covered all throughout the NCAA tournament. Harry and I are just going to be a couple fans watching on our couch. Yeah, and watching Cam Boozer not lose a game. So we will see what happens. Thank you again so much for watching Bracketology, men's selection presented by Coors Light. For Harry Lyles Jr., Jeff Borzello, and Myron Medcalf, I am Sam Ravech saying so long. Enjoy the games, everybody. Going to be a great NCAA tournament.